Good morning, class. Today, let us learn the first lesson after a shadow. In this lesson, Mr. and Mrs. Mayflower, they were husband and wife and had a son named Arthi. It was the month of June. She had called her husband to look at their son. So, let us see the second paragraph. I leaned from the window in pleasant excitement to see what new adventure my son had got into. Wanting to enjoy the bright day of summer, Arthi had escaped from his nanny and ran off in the sunshine. Here, Mr. Mayflower put into a sloping position from the window to see the adventure of his son, which he had got into. He wanted to enjoy the bright day of summer. So he escaped from his nanny and ran off in the sunshine. Now, see the third paragraph given here, students. Arthi darling called out his mother, but it went unheard by the excited child whose world was made up of delights and wonder. Let us see what is explained in the third paragraph. Mrs. Mayflower called Arthi again, but the child whose world was made up of delights and wonder didn't hear her. Now, run after him, Mr. Mayflower, said my wife with a touch of worry in her voice. He might fall and hurt himself. Now, Mrs. Mayflower told her husband to go after their child. She told him that for not getting the answer of her child, she became so worried and told Mr. Mayflower to go and search Arthi. Otherwise, he might get hurt by himself. And she also said that she don't want to repeat it again. The little children are getting into trouble when parents are least bothered about them. What is it, darling? What are you doing? What are you running after? I said, as I asked him to slow down. Then Mr. Mayflower went after him, asked him for what he is running after, and he also asked him not to run. Now, he struggled a moment and then stood still, stooping forward for something on the ground. He did that twice and each time looked at me with a puzzled face. Now, Mr. Mayflower catch hold of him, and Arthi was bending his body forward and downwards to catch hold of something. He looked at his father in a puzzled face when he failed to catch the object. Now let us move to the second page. Oh Papa, see, he failed to catch the object. Now I have already told you, Miss Arthi, he looked at his father in a puzzled face when he failed to catch the object. Now, why Arthi? I exclaimed, catching him up in my arms. It's only your shadow, foolish child. And I ran back to Mrs. Mayflower with my baby boy held close against my heart. Mr. Mayflower catch hold of him and told him that it is your shadow, you foolish child. Then he took Arthi and went to Mrs. Mayflower. Now, after a shadow, said I, shaking my head a little soberly as I left Arthi to his mother. So life begins and so it ends. Poor Arthi. Now let us see the explanation of the given paragraph. Mr. Mayflower exclaimed himself by shaking his head and saying that after a shadow, then he left Arthi to his mother. Thinking about his little innocent son, he said, so life begins, so it ends. Mrs. Mayflower laughed out right merrily. What Mrs. Mayflower done now? Mrs. Mayflower laughed out happily by thinking about the innocence of her child. So life begins, so it ends, I repeated to myself as I left the house and walked towards my shop. We are always in the pursuit of shadows. We are always so eager for the future. And what might happen that we lose the gifts of present and run towards the future that is like a ghost and uncertain. No pause, no ease, no full enjoyment of now. He left the house by repeating the same words, so life begins, so it ends, and walked towards his shop. We are always eager to know about our future. We may lose the gifts of the present if we run towards the future like a ghost, and it will remain uncertain. We have to live with full enjoyment without taking any unwanted tensions. Now let us see what is given there in the next paragraph. The shadow lesson was forgotten by the time I reached my shop and became busy in my work of making list of things that were there in the store, or what had to be brought, or the money owed to me. I buried myself among the letters, invoices, accounts, samples, and calculations of profit. My goal was to gain as much wealth in future as possible, and I worked towards that goal. Now let us see what is Mr. Mayflower saying. Mr. Mayflower became busy in his work of making list of things that were there in the store, or what had to pay or repay to him. He became so busy and forgotten his son who was at the back of shadow. He was so busy among the letters, records of goods provided, and the amount charged for them. His aim was to earn more money so that he can gain much wealth in future, and he worked towards that aim. Now let us see the next paragraph. Mr. Mayflower said, one of the clerks disturbing me from my work, we have a new man in from the west, a Mr. B from Alton. He wants to buy things for $1,000 and put them on a bill to be paid after receiving the goods. Since he is new and we don't know anything about him, do you want to gather some background information about him? Now, what Mr. Mayflower said to one of his clerk who was disturbing him. One of the clerks of Mr. Mayflower had told him about Mr. B from Alton, and he also told him that he wanted to buy things for $1,000, and he put them on a bill and he will pay it after receiving the goods. He told Mr. Mayflower that Mr. B is very new, and he also asked Mr. Mayflower that do he want to collect some information about him. Now, even this interruption annoyed me, but I was calculating the business that Mr. B would bring me in future. Now, what had happened to Mr. Mayflower? Mr. Mayflower, he was very busy in calculating the business that Mr. B would bring him in future, and this interruption irritated him too. With Mr. B of Alton, I asked, does he look like a fair man? Now, Mr. Mayflower asked his clerk about Mr. B, whether he looks a fair man. Yes, sir, he said, but it may be wise to get a report on him. He said that he wants the things to be taken to Glynn and Company, where they will be packed as he has asked them to make a bill for him. Now the clerk replied him that it would be wise to get a report on him, and he also told him that Mr. B wanted to take things to Klein and Company. Mr. Klein and Company, we asked them to make a bill as they would be pack the things for him. Now, thinking over this, I told the clerk, if he has made a bill at Klein and Company, then sell him the things and put them on his bill, so that money can be collected later. Now, thinking of the bills, Mr. Mayflower told his clerk that if he had made a bill at Klein and Company, then sell the things to him so that they can collect the money later. And turning to my desk, my plans and my calculations, I forgot all about Mr. B and the trifling bill of $1,000 that he proposed buying. How clear the way looked ahead. Mr. Mayflower got busy with his work and forgot all about Mr. B and about the small bill of $1,000 that he wanted. Now at 6 o'clock, I picked up the newspaper, and what I read there chilled me. Chilled me to the bone. All the eagerness of making money that I had felt in the morning was lost. Mr. Mayflower picked up the newspaper, and he became so tensed that the news in the newspaper made him so nervous, and and all the eagerness of making money had felt in the morning was soon lost. I dashed to the clerk who had asked me about Mr. B and asked, have the goods sold to that new customer from Alton been delivered? Mr. Mayflower approached the clerk and asked him whether the goods which had sold to Mr. B been handed over. Then he replied that, yes sir, was answered by one of my clerk. They were sent to Klein and Company immediately. Mr. B said they were packing up his goods which were to be shipped today. Now let us see what is saying there in this paragraph. Then one of his clerks replied that they were sent to Klein and Company and they were packing the goods and to be transported on a ship today. They sold to him only for cash, said my clerk. I saw one of their young men this afternoon and asked about Mr. B. He didn't know anything about him, said B was a new man who bought a moderate cash bill but was sending in large quantities of goods to be packed. Things from our shop included 5 or 6 times more than what he had purchased with him. Now the clerk told him that Klein and Company had sold the things only for cash, and he also said that he had saw a young man of Klein and Company that afternoon, and he asked him about Mr. B. He told him that he don't know anything about Mr. B, and he told the clerk that Mr. B was a new man who had brought a moderate, that means rather large, no small cash bill, sending goods in large quantities and had purchased 5 or 6 times with Klein and Company. Now let us see the next paragraph. Is that so? I exclaimed. It has a bad looks, said I. How large a bill did he make with us? Mr. Mayflower got surprised after hearing this, asked him that how he made a large bill with us. Then the sales book was referred to. $1,700, replied the clerk. The clerk replied, it is of $1,700 after referring to the sales book. What I brought he was to buy only to the amount of $1,000. I returned in surprise and dismay. Now Mr. Mayflower, he got surprised and disappointed after hearing this, and he told him that he had thought that Mr. B had to buy only the amount of $1,000. Now students, see the next paragraph which is given there on the right hand side. You seem so confident about him, sir, replied the clerk, that I encouraged him to buy, and the bill ran up higher than I was aware until I got the exact figure. The clerk told Mr. Mayflower that Mr. Mayflower had more confidence about him and he encouraged him to buy, but the bill got higher than he thought and until he got the exact figure. Then I drew out my watch. It was close on to 6:30. Mr. Mayflower saw the time on his watch and it was near about 6:30. I think, Edward, said I, that you should go to Klein and Company and ask them to delay the packaging so that we can make a check on Mr. B and see if he is not cheating us. Now in this paragraph, Mr. Mayflower told Edward to go to Klein and Company and ask them to delay the packaging so that they can watch Mr. B for he was not cheating them. Now Mr. Clerk, he answered Mr. Mayflower that it's too late, answered my clerk. Mr. B called a little after 1 o'clock and gave notes for the amount of his bill. He was to leave in the 5 o'clock line for Boston. Then the clerk told Mr. Mayflower that it was too late and Mr. B had given notes for the amount of his bill and had to leave at 5 o'clock by a bus for Boston. Now finally let us see the last paragraph. I turned my face a little aside so that Edward might not see all the anxiety that was visible. As I slowly walked home, I said to myself, after a shadow, so life begins, so it ends. Mr. Mayflower tried to hide his little nervousness from Mr. Edward by turning his face ahead and walked home by saying that after a shadow, so life begins, so it ends. So students, what we have learned from this lesson, that we should not eager to know about our future. If we do so, we may lose the gifts of the present and we may remain uncertain. So we have to live with full of enjoyment without taking any unwanted tensions. Okay children, thank you very much.